Hello again. It's been a while. Welcome back to watching me try and learn Haskell and struggling a little bit, but it's part of the fun, isn't it? It's been about 3 months since I last did this. As you can, well, if you've been following along, you can see a new background. I moved house, not necessarily because I wanted to, and then it took me a while to get in the right headspace to start this again. But I'm back, and hopefully we can pick up and continue to do this weekly and just get back in the habit of learning Haskell and live streaming it. My original plan was to go back to working on the virtual machine I was building, the bytecode interpreter thing. But it was quite a lot of code. I didn't really have time to get back into that and to learn how it worked again. So rather than spending a whole hour just going, don't remember it, I thought I'll start something new and maybe something a bit simpler and smaller. And also maybe smaller things work a little bit better when live streaming it. If I'm only doing it like 1 hour a week, it's quite a big overhead to get back into a bigger project. But having said that, the aim is to eventually go back to the VM and pick it up again. But this week, and probably for a little while, I'll do something a little bit different. Then, I've totally forgotten how to write Haskell and also live stream, but we'll see how it goes. So, let's look at some stuff. I'm gonna write a little interpreter, or I guess it's a language. Language is a sort of pushing it a little bit. It's an idea that a colleague of mine had. It was for transforming some data, and I thought it was an interesting little project. Probably about the right kind of size to look at when live coding, but it's going to involve some parsing, as you can probably guess from the megaparsec screen that's up there. And it'll involve probably a little tree walking interpreter. It's not a fully fledged programming language. Okay, so let's say I'm a lot. Right. I decided to call it Gerardo Lang after Gerardo, who suggested it, my colleague. This is an empty directory, so there's nothing in here yet. I haven't started. I was just going to start from scratch. And I'm going to run, but actually before I run that, I'm going to run GHC up QE and just check that I'm running the right versions of Haskell and everything. So yep, 944 is what I'm going to go for. And let's cabal and let's HLS, which should be good. Okay, so I'll run cabal init in here. It's going to be an executable. I don't care about overwriting files. I'm going to go for version 6 because I want to use mixins. We'll call it that. That's fine. Which name is that? I'll give it BSD3 clause. That's my name. That's my email. No URL, no synopsis. Oh, I don't know. Select programming. I'm going to put 18 other and not specify it. And main.hs is cool. Put the stuff in app. That's fine. I'm going to use GHC 2021. There's some language extensions that I want to use that I think are now a default in GHC 2021. I can't remember what they are. Named fill puns is one of them, but there might be some others I want. Do I want formative comments? No. It's not having formative comments. Let's just go, whoops, uninformative comments. Okay. I'll also run git init in this directory, and I'll just git add everything. That's good enough. And I will say, oops, git commit -m new project. Okay. Let's go for code. Oops. Okay. Okay. Bigger. Right then, brand new project, nothing in it. What I will do first, I think, is just run cabal build, just make sure it builds and runs. Should run cabal run maybe. Cool. Now I say run, it should say something like hello. Yep. And let me go back to the browser for a second because I want to use Prelude. So I can't remember the instructions for setting this up, but it should be on here. Maybe instructions. No, it's telling me all about it. Mixing. This is what I want. So just standard instructions for adding Prelude. I have the correct version of Cabal to support this. So if I go back to here, common warnings, I'll just rename that in a second. So I'll just say common base. Base. Okay, and just indent those a little bit. No, it's not going to work. There we go. Okay. So what this should do is replace Prelude with Prelude. My plan. I'd also probably need to tell it that it depends on that. So we'll pull in base. And we will also pull in Prelude. What version? It's got a version somewhere, I guess. 1.1.0.0. Okay. Anything else? I'm just going to fix the indentation a bit because it annoys me otherwise. Like that. We can go back a bit more. Okay. And then here we can just move this over. As we go. Okay. Warnings all, we actually want also occur. Anything else? There'll be some other stuff I want in a minute, but let's go for that for now. Okay, and then in theory I should be able to run Cabal run. It should go and grab Prelude and build it. It does not. Okay, because it doesn't support base 418, which is what I'm running. Because I'm running a more recent version of GHC. So let's find out what versions they have. This version is 1.2. 2. Okay, try it again. Looks happier. Okay, cool, it works. So we now have Prelude in place. I'm going to need to make a parsec, and well, anything else I need, I'll just start with make a parsec and we'll see how we go, but I don't ever. So I'm going to rename my executable to GL, a bit shorter than typing Gerardo line, and I'm going to create a library as well. And it should by default be called Gerardo line because that's the name of the project. And I will import base. Oops. Oh, I didn't mean to delete that. Let me put it back in there for a second. Okay, build depends on base, but it also is going to depend on mega parsec. Okay. A lot of noise of setting up a new project. I'm going to just grab that, drop it up here. Okay, and then I can say down here that this depends on Gerardo line. It's an E, not an I think. I hope I spelled his name right. If not, artistic license. I'm going to put libraries into lib. Anything else? You don't need to say main. should be okay. There are going to be some like default extensions I want as well, but we'll put those in later. Oh, it's not the way to do it. I can't remember how to indent these properly. Okay. I think that's pretty good enough. Just see if it still builds. Oh, I'm probably to make a directory called lib, and then cabal build, cabal run. I think that still works. Cool. Okay. At some point I'll put a test in as well. So what am I doing? Graphical plan, as always. So this is the idea from Gerardo. This is about generating some test data, or just some data, I guess, in general. And a simple example of this is you start with UUID. Right, this was written in Go, so it was really something like UUID.new string, and then, well, let's start with the original version. Okay, so we start with UUID.new string, and then you want to turn that. You want to strip out. I think that was the thing I wanted to do. So it was something like strings.replace. Strings.replace. I'm going to replace. I think it was dashes with empty spaces, and then after that, I think it was something like strings.lower or lowercase. I can't remember how you do this and Go. So it would start with something like this. ID is equal to that, and then ID is equal to, they say strings replace blah 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 in ID, and then finally you lowercase this. These would have to be capital because of Go. I don't think that's the right function for lowering it, but anyway. So that was the process he was going through to generate some kind of ID. And the suggestion was, what if you had a language or a utility, we could say UID and then pipe it through the next stage. So you'd maybe say replace, I think it was something like this that he was suggesting. I might change it a little bit in a second. And you pipe that through lower, and then that would produce the right answer. Now I don't see the point in brackets or even commas, because you know Haskell. I think maybe we'd replace with something like strip. So I think that's what I want to write, where all of these things would just be initially built in to the language. So something that generates UUID, something that strips out characters, and something that turns it into lowercase versions. A little bit worried about the pipe symbol. I can see where it's coming from. I'm just wondering about something like that to make it clearer that it's being pushed through the next stage. A bit like a bit of an arrow. So yeah, the plan is to write something which can parse this, and then we'll implement these basic functions and write something to execute it. This is my plan. Okay, I should leave that in place. Okay, so to start with, and maybe the only thing I'm going to get done today is I'll look at parsing this using megaparsec. So it can take some kind of input and will produce, I guess it'll spit out some kind of abstract syntax tree with these things in it. The tree itself, sorry, I'm going to call this thing a program. And the program is going to be either some kind of, well, for now we'll say it's an expression or it's a pipe goes from one expression to another. So expression which is match UUID on its own or lower, something like that. And this pipe thing would be used when we match an expression on this hand side, then this funny arrow thing, and then expression on this hand side, on the right hand side. Okay, so that's what I want to spit out, I guess, from my program. It just occurred to me I'd probably also like to write a test for this. So I can't remember how to write the test block in Cabal. So I'm going to copy it, I guess. Let me find this. I mean, should be able to look at. Oh, Bookie has got something in it, hasn't it? So somewhere, it's test suite. Okay, it's basically stuff. I want that line, and I'm going to want the other modules and the build depends as well, I guess. But the build depends should only be dependent on hspec. And hspec megaparsec. Okay, how do you copy this? Oh, not like that. Okay, there we go. Cool. So it'll be GL test. Put it in as reticle test, main is spec, put HS. Default language will come from base, so I should probably import base. Essentially don't need JC options. Other modules is just going to be, we'll just call it GL spec, I guess. And it depends on hspec and hspec megaparsec. Okay. I need a formatter for Cabal. Probably is one, but I don't seem to have it. Okay, and then the spec HS itself. Bookie, it should be test spec. There's a magic line in it I can never remember. I think that's it. So we should be able to go to test spec.hs and put the magic line in there. Okay. Oh, I've woken up HLS. Good. Close that. It always gets upset by that. So I should be able to run Cabal test, and there shouldn't be any tests that it runs, but it shouldn't ever. Module GL spec cannot be found locally. Always I told it I had that, and I didn't create it. So it's going to be test GL spec. Actually, let's call this parser spec, because I'm going to test the parser here. So I can't really write this either. It's something like will export a function called spec, I think. And we'll say spec is of type, and I forget, it's IO nothing maybe. And say something like it parses all right, and then we could say let's do a stupid thing. So we say true. Should be true. Okay, now can I pull these in from hspec? Look at that. Okay, and the type is now wrong. So this is not IO, it's something else. I'm just going to go and look at this. We had a parser spec in here, didn't we? So it's a type spec. Cool. Okay, and import that as well. Cool. And then we're on the tests, they should pass. Nope, because I didn't update the name in here. I didn't call it GL spec, I called it parser spec. Okay, test passes, and just to prove that everything is okay, if I say false, be true. Oh, hey Tim, I was going to say good to see you again, but the camera doesn't work that way. Good to see you online again. Yeah, the pipe syntax I stole from Elixir, and I've not written any F#, but I had seen someone say it came from there originally. Yeah, I'm not implementing the whole language around it, but I'm just going to implement this idea of piping something to the next step. Okay. So the parser kind of works. Not the parser, sorry, the test kind of works. So now we can write an actual spec. So we're going to need some kind of parser. We'll call parse on it. We'll give it the input string, which is going to be this thing. Oops. I need to escape my quotes. Remember how to do that? There we go. And we'll say this. Should parse, I think is the thing we want to use. Okay, we got a bracketing issue. So we parse that. Should parse, and then I can't remember what it looks like. I'm going to go and cheat and have a look what we had before. So there's no do after it apparently, but parse whatever, should parse, and then some value. Oops. Some value. What is this going to be? Oh, I guess I said it's going to be some kind of pipe where the left-hand side, so I think what I wanted to say is it should be a pipe where the left-hand side is a expression, and for now I'll just put it in the text. Maybe we can do by expression, which is as a call, because we're calling a function here. And the right-hand side is another pipe where the left-hand side is a call to strip. There's another thing, right? So call to strip with a parameter this time, and the parameter is going to be a dash, and the right hand side of this is going to be a call to lure with no arguments. Okay. brackets, and then it's going to be represent because I haven't defined any of these things. Let me break up lines. Nope, it will not let me. Okay, so it should parse. I should be able to come from megaparsec. And then we don't have these high constructors of pipe and call, and we don't have a parse function. So if you go lib/parser, it's probably going to get upset because I haven't put this into Cabal. So is it exported modules or something? No, modules exposed. Exposed modules. Okay, cool. Modules in this are going to be parser for now. We'll presumably put other ones in at some point. So this will catch up. And we're going to export something called parse. And data type I said was going to be, so we either have an expression or a program, whatever. It's either going to be call, which is going to have a name, which is going to say some text, and it's going to have some arguments, which is going to say that a list of texts, or it's going to be a pipe with an expression and another expression. Ooh, okay. And we'll say parse is something that goes from text to expression for now. It won't be in future. And parse s is equal to, and it's going to be run parser, and I can't write the arguments out for this, so let's import it and then hover, and it's that's type. What's run parser? So it goes, it wants a parser, it's first argument, then it takes a string and then an s. So a string is the name of the program, S is the input, and so it gives you back. Okay, so let's just run dummy parser and name of the program will be empty for now, and then S. And indeed I can introduce it. Very clever. Okay, so dummy parser is going to be a parser that returns an expression. We haven't told what parser is yet. So type parser is a parsec, which way around the arguments go for parsec? I can't write void text or text void here. Hover. It's not going to show me. Okay, I think it's text void. I'm going to try void text. So one of these represents, I think represents a class I'm using for errors, which is nothing. And then this is the type I'm using for the input that I'm parsing. I think I might have got this wrong way around, but we'll have a look and see. So, oops. For now, we can just say definition of this is some kind of call dummy, something like that. Okay, couldn't match type that, so it's going to be pure that. couldn't match type list of character with text. Let's go back a second. So this is going to be in here. I think there's something, is it default language extensions or language extensions? GCC language extensions. Default dash extensions. And this is, what's the thing with the strings? Overloaded strings. And it did not start. Okay, what have I done wrong? So the minus is unnecessary. That's going to upset it. I need to manually restart LSP now because it crashed on the last time I tried. Is it going to start? There we go. Okay, cool. Good. We want to export expression because someone's going to use it. I want to export it up, but it's the wrong place. What is it doing? I want to export it up here. Okay, and I have a problem where this is the output of run parser is either the successful thing we want or this parse error bundle, and I might expect text expression actual text. I think this is not showing me what the actual is. There we go, text to that. That's why I was confused by it. Okay. What I might just do in this function is I'll say case that of, and then we'll say left some kind of error, and we'll just error and right. We will have some kind of expression and we'll just turn it. So basically a from right, but I don't have access to that in Prelude. No, in Relude, sorry, because it's not safe. Okay. I think I've got my type wrong for parsec. Is it going to show me the definition? Wonderful. Type to type to type to type. Not telling me which way around they go. If I go find a browser, it should tell me. Quite early on, maybe. So we don't want parsec T, we want parsec, and it's ESA. So E is type of the error message, so we can use void. S is the type of the input stream, we'll use text, and A we will define later. So parsec void text. So I did remember it the correct way around, which is good. Okay, cool. So here we're saying couldn't match expected type text. I can't have to reduce it now. That's what's happening. And I want to show my error. Okay, that should be my parser, I think. Go back to test. Not that one. This one. I should now be able to import these things. Could no load module parser. No, indeed not. Okay, because I haven't told it depends on it. So this now depends on your order line. Select reload. Oh, it's not happy. What have I done wrong now? Just want to see its error. That works okay. Must be something on test. Cannot build package or line because none of the components are available to build. Did I typo in there? Gerardo. Better. Okay, cool. So go back to the spec. I now have the correct errors. So pipe. I'll put an old expression. Okay, so I said should parse, which means that it's going to look inside the return type from running the parser. But I extracted that. So actually, maybe what I can do here is I can say parser error bundle, that thing. Is it parse error bundle? It's also either. But let's look at the type of this. So it's either parse error bundle, SE, or A. S in this case is text, and E is void. Okay, and now I don't need to have my case statement, I can just return the thing. Okay, so now we go back to the spec. Now what's its problem? Can match type expression with expect to have expression to expression. Oh, because pipe's got two sides to it. I messed it up a bit. What's with the commas? Okay, so on the left hand side is the call expression, and on the right hand side is a pipe that's got two calls. What's it saying? No instance. What is it saying? No instance show expression. Oh yes, of course. I say of course, but I always forget to say this. Deriving stock. And we're going to drive show and equal for now. I think that's all I need. Deriving strategies. I don't really need deriving strategies, I've got in the habit of using them. I don't think I'll need it for this though. Messed that right up. I don't need this word. Let me just get rid of it. Kick the language server because it dies. Okay, I've got a button for run test. Does it work? No, it does not work. Okay. Look at that, cool. So it expected this thing, but it got the dummy that I put in place. All of that to get scaffolding in place to run a single test. It doesn't work yet, but that's okay. So we're going to have a couple of things. We can parse a pipe. Let's return expression. And parsing a pipe involves, oops, we would actually have some do blocks. So we're going to say left is parse I guess expression. Yeah. And then we want to match the string. Oops, not that. And then we'll say right is parse expression again. And then we will return pipe left and right. There's a lot of things it doesn't like, so we can say parse expression it's either going to be parse pipe or parse call. Get eventually, so parse call is a parser which returns expression and what are we matching here? So it's identifier followed by possibly, but not necessarily, some arguments. But actually, let's not parse arguments for now. Let me come back to that. Parse identifier is a parser which returns some text. Oops, text. Parse identifier is it's like alpha num or something. Some alpha num. Alphanumeric. I can't remember how this works. So now we should be able to say call that inside call also takes it also takes a list of arguments, and I don't have any argument parser yet. So for now, I think I can write flip that. So it'll be call, then whatever parse identifier returns, and then the empty string, or the empty list, sorry. It's a very strange way of writing that. Okay, string. Text megaparsec char string. Sum will come from, let's do alphanumeric first. It's not alphanumeric. Alphanum. No. We're going to have to go and look these things up. not going to help me, is it? Alpha num char, what's that? So what's error now? Couldn't match char with text. Okay, cool. So we can say many of those. We need to say some. Yep. Okay, cool. We're getting close. We've got a list of characters and we actually need text, and we can say t.pack of that. Nope. We need to lift it into it. Okay, and t.pack it should be able to do from data text pack. I don't care whether or not it's lazy. The import data text pack is redundant. Okay. So I should call pack. Is that right? Nope. Oh, hang on. I see what happened there. Get rid of that for a second. I want to call it t.pack, and I just imported it directly. I didn't import it qualified. I thought it would be better than that. Or qualified data text as t, and I should be able to write t.pack. Okay, cool. And then we won't return dummy parser, we'll actually return part expression. Okay. And then we have some complaints. Documentation statement disregarded a result of type. What? Tokens text. That's fine. I don't care what it is. Okay, and then it's going to work. Apparently. I don't think that's any better, but anyway, it does. Right, so in theory this should parse my thing, but it won't work because I don't parse the arguments. I'm hoping it'll run apart from the arguments. Or run forever. Not really what I wanted. Let's swap these around. I can't remember which way around to put alternatives. I guess putting the one that terminates first is probably the way to go. But that doesn't help actually, because it just parses the first thing and then stops. Seems like this wasn't failing. I didn't expect this to fail. I might need to use try at this point then. Working alternatives. Don't want a long lecture, I just want the answer. So it's not really a choice of things here. Or we can use this as well, actually. That's a good point. So backtracking with try. This is what I want. Try that and that. This thing I can rewrite as pipe. Pipe parse expression, and then I can run and chuck away the parsing of this thing, and then I can add parsing expression. Don't know if that's any better than the do block. It's probably harder to read. But anyway. Okay, so I was going to say try parsing a pipe. Or parsing a call. Don't know if that's going to help. Let's see what happens. No, it's running forever now. Swap around again. Now, all we're getting so far is called UID. We're not picking up the pipe stuff properly. Okay. Let's just say it parses a pipe. Actually, let's start with it parses a call. That's the easiest example. So parse of UID should parse, and then it should be call UID. So that passes, that's good. So it parses a pipe. So parse UID pipe through strip. And say that should parse. And then this should be pipe. Call UID. That. And then call strip. Next argument. So that's the bit that's probably going to trip it up. Okay. If I go back to my parser, ooh, I then want the end of file. Not end of file. What is it called? End of line would maybe work, but there's another thing for the end of the file. Forcing consumption input with EOF. Should be EOF. It does come from wounded parsec, okay. I'm just going to bracket these up to make sure that the EOF applies to the call as well. Cool, I forgot to tell about spaces. Okay, so after parse expression, it's going to be, I'm going to put this in its own function, so I'm going to say parse separator. Parse void. Okay, so we say parse separator, and oops, and this is going to be string that followed by many H space. I'm going to allow it before as well, so say many H space. Something like that. The type sequence for this, what about it? Lacks accounting binding. Okay, so let's pull it in. Can match text with void. Okay. Why did you throw it away? Doesn't seem right. Hold on, okay. So many H space. Oh, I want to get rid of the result of this. Pure void, pure. It's not void. Sorry, what am I talking about? It's not void, it's just not anything. Okay. Let's text that, and then we should move to that. Oops. Not that. We can how much type list of nothing with nothing. I don't think I need many for H space then. Okay, so we're going to parse expression, and we're going to parse the separator. And then that. Does that help with the testing? No. Expecting space. So unexpected space expects alphanumeric character or end of input, so it's not running this branch, the parse pipe branch. But if I put that first, what happens. I think this just hangs forever. Yep. Okay, instead of making this recursive, does it help if I say a pipe is always just a call and then another call? Because that's not going to work for what I'm trying to build. Okay, but it stops it spinning forever. So on the left-hand side of a pipe, it's always going to be a call, and then the right-hand side can be another expression. Okay, that works. So I guess what's happening is I hadn't consumed the separator. I was calling parse expression again, which come into parse pipe, which is calling parse expression without consuming the separator, which is calling parse pipe. So it's just looping forever. Okay, so does that mean, oops, that in here I can now say this, pipelines. We don't parse this yet. Does it fit in the right place? It does not. What happened there? It might be because of this. So if I get rid of that, yes-ish. Okay, cool. It just doesn't match because I've taken out this argument, so we need to do some argument parsing. But we just got 10 o'clock. We're an hour into this. I might call it a day at that point. So we have something better than nothing. We can now parse most of the input, not quite all of it. So I need to extend the parser to look for arguments passed into function calls. But that shouldn't take too long to do, hopefully. And then next week, I can then take this tree and just try and evaluate it. Basically, it's by starting at the beginning of it, and you evaluate the call, and you evaluate the rest, and then pass the values in between. Before I go, this new style won't go in. Get ignore. Oops. No, where I am. There's something for like get ignore. What is that? Cool. I'll keep that. I'll keep that. I'll keep that. I'll keep that. So this is started to write the parser. Okay. I haven't got an upstream to push it to yet, but I'll set something up. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for watching. It was indeed fun. I think starting something new was probably a good idea. Yeah, and hopefully see you next week, and we'll pick it up and write a little bit more. Cool. See you next time.